Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got a puzzle for you today called Shikaku Killer by Ennead. And Ennead is a group of 9 things, isn't it? I might be wrong about that, but it rings a bell. I think I've done an Ennead puzzle or 2 on the channel before, and this one's been recommended. It came out of the Secret Santa that we had over on the Discord server. So I think this was a present for Mr. Dan H, and has subsequently been shared more widely and has got a lot of love. It's got a brilliant rule set, sort of combining the Japanese logic problem, Shikaku, of which I am a huge fan, with Killer Sudoku. And Shikaku just requires you to divide areas into rectangles. So that's going to be our job today. Don't worry if you don't know what Shikaku is. I will explain everything when we do the rules in a moment or two's time. I think this has got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, but at least one person has said it's a little bit easier than that, and apparently it's rather wonderful. So I'm very much looking forward to having a go on a nice spring day here in the UK. Actually, does winter end at the end of February? Is that officially when winter ends? I'm not sure, but we may be even converging on the start of spring, which seems appropriate today as the sun is out and there is blue sky. Anyway, I'll read you the rules of this one in a moment or two's time. I have loads of things to talk to you about before that. We'll start off by saying that there was a video this morning released on the channel where I do some solving with the YouTuber chainbear. Absolutely, we had a brilliant time, and you know, this is a wonderful puzzle, by the way, by 2 to 10th, so do check it out if you want to know more about chainbears. Of course, I mean, he's got 500,000 followers on YouTube, doing Formula 1 related content, and yeah, super nice guy, very clever, and actually I think his videos have a little bit in common with ours in that they teach you things, or they teach me things anyway. I hope these videos teach some people who watch them things. So I've learned about racing lines through corners and braking distances, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, check out chainbear. I thoroughly recommend his YouTube channel, and I also commend that video to you. Next, let's talk about the fact that we are converging on the 1st of March on a new Sudoku hunt, which we are going to be releasing then. And I'm delighted to tell you that the month, this is over on Patreon, the Sudoku hunt has been created by Blobs, and it's NURIKABE Sudoku themed. So this is the current, let's put that right there. This is the current solve count. It's a 0. Of course, it will go live 4 p.m. UK time on the 1st of March. And if you don't know what NURIKABE is, I think Blobs was sort of had the idea to create this hunt after watching the last stream that Mark and I did, which is about a month ago now, where we tackled a game called NURIKABE World. NURIKABE is another of these Japanese logic puzzles. It's beautiful, beautiful logic, and Blobs has sort of ingrained that logic into some Sudokus for us, and it's a lovely, lovely pack. And yeah, do check it out. The prize will be the opportunity to make a Sudoku video that appears on the channel with me, and I have got the winner for this month's competition. Where's My Mama was the Sudoku hunt in question. So drum roll, the winner, and I'll email you after I've recorded this video, hopefully, is Steve Passmore. So Steve, I hope you're watching. I hope that you might be interested in making a video that appears on the channel. Yeah, I'll be in touch. If you're not interested, that is no problem. If you'd rather not, then we'll give you gaming keys instead, which might, I think for a lot of people, is going to be what they prefer to get. But Steve, I'll be in touch, and many congratulations on winning February's competition. Now, let's do some birthdays as well. Let's start off with Morton. Morton, your dear friend Peter wrote to us and said you might appreciate a shout out for your birthday. Apparently you are a shout at the screen guy when watching Cracking the Cryptic. You like to tell me where I go wrong or where I'm slow. But Peter says that you are an avid watcher, and that a cake is apparently planned, but it won't be chocolate cake, which I'm disappointed to hear. But anyway, Morton, many happy returns. And then we'll go to Washington, D.C. to say happy birthday to Anders. Anders, you've turned the big 4-0 today. And I know this because your wife, Rebecca, wrote to us and said, actually, you watch quite diligently as well. So, Anders, thank you very much for doing that. And I hope you have a great birthday today. I have been to Washington, D.C. only once. What a city that is. It is so interesting. And just a lovely place to spend a few days. I really, really enjoyed it. Anyway, I digress. Next, over in London, or Ontario, so with Canada, not London, England. Karen, it's your birthday. And I know this because your husband, Ryan, wrote to us and said that you both have been watching every day for a number of years. Good grief. Thank you so much for doing that. And Karen, many happy returns. I hope your birthday is full of heavily frosted, as you might say, chocolate cake. Then finally, Dale. Dale is doing an incredible thing. It's Dale's birthday today, turning 67. So back to prime numbers again. And for his birthday, he is doing a charity walk, 13, so half marathon of walking around North Warwickshire, to support Motor Neurone Disease. And Dale's nephew, Patrick, who is only 30, is suffering with that. It's a dreadful disease. It really is. So Dale, thank you very much for doing such a good thing. I'm going to put the link to your Just Giving page under this video and encourage anybody watching to support if they can. I understand you can't have chocolate cake, Dale, even though you're going to be burning through the calories today, but you are going to have a tot of Irish whiskey. Well, that's a very nice thing to do as well. And Dale, I wish you many happy returns, and I of course wish Patrick the best as well. And I hope that your walk is incredible. I know it's incredibly successful already. I looked at the Just Giving page, but all power to your bow, and thank you for watching the channel. And with that said and done, let's have a look at Shikaku Killer by Aniad. I will read you the rules. They are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, and that means we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. And then we have to divide the entire grid into rectangles, each containing a single circle and a single cell containing a question mark. Right, so for example, I was about to draw a rectangle that couldn't exist, actually. I was going to draw that one. That's so bad. No, we've got to put one circle and one question mark. So that would be a very simple rectangle. I'm sure other more complicated rectangles are going to be possible. Look, there's one there. That could be a rectangle. But we've just got to make sure we put one question mark and one circle into anything. Oh, look, that's a big old thing we could have there. Now, what else? The digit in the circle gives the number of cells in the rectangle. So if we drew that, let's just colour that in for a moment. This square would be an 8. That's how that rule works. Digits cannot... Oh, hang on, let's restore that so that we can study it again in light of the next sentence of the rules, where it says digits cannot repeat in rectangles, so these would have to be 8 different digits. And each rectangle's digits sum to one of 10, 20, 30, and x, where x is to be determined by the solver. So actually, I can tell you now, if this was one of the rectangles in the puzzle, x would have to be bigger than 30 because 8 different digits. The triangular number for 8 is 36, i.e. what's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8? It's 36. So it would have to be a number bigger than 30 if this was one of the rectangles in the puzzle, which it may or may not be. We don't know yet. So hopefully that's clear. Yeah, so we make rectangles. They all sum to 10, 20, 30, or some number that we've got to find out. And that's all the rules. do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. I was really pleased, actually, when I saw that this puzzle was scheduled or slated for me to have a go at, because Sudoku is a puzzle I remember so fondly from the days when Nickely.com worked and everybody raced on the Nickely puzzles. Sudoku was one of the things I was relatively okay at. For some reason, my brain seems to see rectangles more clearly than it sees Sudoku digits and things. Now, I wonder if this is going to be to do with the fact that we have to divide the whole grid. So that cell, for example, no, it could go that way, couldn't it? Or that way. Normally with Sudoku, it's just a case of getting started, and then you can... Yeah, okay. So look at this square. That square, whatever rectangle this cell is part of, it can't bump into another question mark. So it must come south until it gets to a circle. So we're in this world. I suppose we don't know whether that one is in this shape or not. But we clearly cannot be moving into other columns, or we're going to take a second question mark. So this square is either a 3 or a 4, depending on how far down this green thing extends. If it does go 4, what happens to that one? Oh, that one would go west, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything very good at the moment in terms of. Yeah, the bottom right as well. That's sort of penned in by question marks, so that's got to right. There we have a digit, but we're not going to get any 3s in the corner in the bottom row, I don't think. Because that cell, it has to go there, doesn't it? There's no other circle that this question mark can get to without bumping into other things that are naughty. And once it gets this circle, it can't go any further because there's another question mark. So that is an actual rectangle which must have a 3 in its circle. And this is going to sum, well, to 10... 20, no, it could sum to 20. If that was an 8-9 pair, it could do it just. Or X. Now let's do our borders around the thing. Be good capability browns. So this is our first actual rectangle. Now what? Okay. Yes. So this one's done as well, isn't it? That can't bump into it. Oh, it can't bump into another question mark. So it must go up until it gets to a circle. And then it can't go any further. So there we go. Another rectangle drawn in. Let's be capability brown again and draw in our rectangle. Now this one. The thing is, we're going to be a bit scuppered here until we work out what X is. We're not going to have a clue what any of these things sum to. What about? Oh no, we don't know what that one can go that way and pick up this circle, or it can go up. And then it could be a sort of a slightly wider rectangle than the ones we've managed to draw so far. Oh, where does that one go? Right, this one must go there, mustn't it? Because it needs to get to a circle, and now this one's sort of this circle, which used to be able to belong to this question mark, now can't because it had to belong to that question mark. So that's a region of some description. Let's use red. But it could... actually, hang on a moment. How does this work? Yes. Okay, actually this does have to go further, I think. What I'm wondering is this square. Let's make it orange. No, orange is terrible. Let's make it green. Okay, if this square is not red, what do we join it to? Now we have a choice. We could join it here, but if we do that, we can't get to a circle in that region before we bump into another question mark, so that's out. And if we instead join it to this question mark, then we can't make a rectangle, because the moment we sort of try and get to circles, the rectangle implied would be illegal because it would overlap with red or overlap with this one. So that one has to be read. And once it has to be read, those three have to be read. And actually we know that's the full extent of read, because we're not allowed to repeat digits in rectangles. And there are only 9 Sudoku digits, so there's no way that this can be any bigger. And this is great for that reason, but also for a different reason, which is a secret reason. It's something I share with only my very favourite people. But of course, if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. You're incredibly indulgent. Thank you very much for listening to me for 15 minutes of wibbling. Now, the secret of Sudoku is that the digits 1 to 9 sum to 45. That is the secret. Keep it to yourself or share it only with very special people. Now, why is that interesting? Well, that's x, isn't it? Because what we're saying is this can't grow any more. So that is a 9. And so I know that this sums to 45 because it's got all 9 different Sudoku digits in it. So x is 45, I think. So now we need to revisit all of these other rectangles. But we still don't know what that one's either 10 and these two sum to 7, or it's 20 and they sum to 17. What about that one? So this can't, obviously it can't sum to 45, so it can't sum to 10. If it sums to 20, those sum to 15. If it sums to 30, those 4 sum to 25. I think both of those things are in theory possible. Oh well, okay, let's do our capability browning again and do our borders. We know this one is doing that, don't we? We just don't know whether it goes to this square here. Right, but now this one's got blocked in. That's got to come and get that one. So that's a new region. We'll make that, what colour should we choose? That one? It's a bit dark, isn't it? But it's got quite a nice distinction between the colours it's next to at the moment. This one could go down here. So this one is 5 or 6. That one has to get this one. So that's the bones of a new region. It might have to come down here as well. Yes, okay. That number is 4 or 6, depending on whether this rectangle extends down or not. It certainly can't extend further down. Actually, here's an interesting point. Yes, and I know. Just avoid me at parties. Do it. It won't. It will be disappointing. No, but you can't have it. I was wondering about that region. That's impossible, actually, isn't it? It's impossible here because you bump into a circle. But you can't have an 8-cell region in this puzzle. You could have a 7-cell region, but you can't have an 8-cell region. Because an 8-cell region, we know the triangular number is 36. But 36 is not a possible total. And an 8-cell region can never sum to 45 because the 8 cells are missing 1 Sudoku digit. And we know we need all 9 to get to 45. So none of these circles contains an 8. We know that now. In fact, okay, so none of them contain a 1 either. If you put 2 into a circle, it would have to be in a 2-cell region that had an 8 with it. Okay. This circle we don't know, do we? It can go that way or it can go down. That one's got a choice of 2, but okay, lovely. This one we know where it goes, and that's because before we did any maths, we could have said, it can go that way. And that's in theory, that's totally possible, except that, remember what we said about the secret, all 9 Sudoku digits sum to 45. So, given that neither of these can grow anymore, and, well, that means that this black region and this purple region sum to numbers ending in 0, because neither of them can add to 45. but the whole row adds to 45. Well, that's impossible, isn't it? We're going to be adding something like 20 or 30. Actually, 20 won't work either for that region. That would be a 30 region. That would have to be a 15 region, which is not a valid total for the puzzle. So this is wrong. Oh, dearie. So that it joins up with that, oh, this one somehow. That's the bones of some new region that we're going to have to investigate. Now, it can't go up any further. Right, so we might as well put that line in. Oh, whoopsie. We can do that. We just don't know. Well, we know this is 4 or 6 then, because we've worked out it couldn't be 8. So it's either going there or it's sticking, and it's going to be a square shape. A square is a rectangle. Right, but now this is lovely. This is sort of classic Sudoku. Look at this cell now. It's really hard to get to, especially given you've got to put a circle in its rectangle. So that's some new region. What colour? Yellow maybe. It's okay. So this one is 4 or 6 as well. Depends whether it goes up here. Oh, okay. So now nothing else can come in here. These are yellow and green because one of these is now a 6 by Sudoku. So we might as well put that boundary in. That's a forced boundary now in the puzzle. Yeah, this is getting beautiful, isn't it? Now look at this. What circle can that get to? Now, because this indigo one has come so far down, it can't get to the middle, so it must get to that one, and then it can't go up. So this is another new. We'll make this one no, blue maybe. Yeah, blue. No, is that getting close to, I suppose it might smash into indigo. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it red again. No, red's too close to orange. I'll make it purple. Okay, so this one, I think it could come over here. It's 3, 4, 5, or it's 3, 4, 5 or 6. Is that a sensible pencil mark? It might be, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, but now this does have to be 6. Because if this was not 6, how would you ever get to this square? The only circle it could get to would be here, and that would create one of those 8-cell regions that we've established as impossible. So that's a 6. That extends orange. We can be capability brown again. And okay, and now we get stuck again. No, I'm wrong. I was about to say, if indigo doesn't come there, this is impossible, but it is totally possible. It could go that way. Those two might have to be bound together indelibly. How could this circle get another question mark in a rectangle that didn't include this question mark? It can't. So that's some region or other. Let's make that, oh dear. Somehow I've managed to concoct a pattern which is totally useless. I'll make that black. But this we have very little knowledge about. It could go up, could go this way. That square could be that. That's sorry. Right. The cell that's under pressure here is not that one, it's this one. Because that can't belong to pink here or purple here, because that rectangle has 2 question marks in it. It can't belong to the black region because that's got 2 question marks in it, so it belongs to that one. So I don't know. Well, that's 3 or 4. It can't go any further, or it's got 2 circles in it. So again, we can do some delineation. But what we don't know, or at least I don't think I know, whether this goes here or not. Yes, okay, so this square is either part of this one or this one. So that one is sort of, it's got 2 possibilities. Okay, and we don't know whether this one comes this way, do we? This one, oh no, we don't know whether this one comes this way. We don't know whether this one comes this way. We're getting into a world now which is going to be complicated, I fear. Right, of course, this can't be 3. Because if this was 3, then we know that this whole box of the Sudoku, which we know contains 9 different digits and adds to 45, has to be made up of totals, which would be 10s, 20s and 30s. That's not going to work, is it? So that's definitely... Oh, it's not 6, because there's a 6 in the box. That's come down to 4 or 5. But the important thing is it grows. So that one... Oh, no, I see. Lovely. Lovely. This growing is huge for this square, because now that needs to be in a rectangle, which is now that rectangle by force of nature. And now that is a 6 in the corner. Right. So what that means is that this rectangle and this rectangle sum to 30. And the reason we know they don't sum to 20 is the triangular number for 6 is 21. If we tried to make this sum to 20 and put the lowest possible digits we could in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, those digits would add to 21. That's not a valid total. So these have to add to 30. So that's these digits sum to 60. That one either sums to 10 or 20. So this one either sums to 10 or 20 in order to make the 2 rows add up to 90, which they must do, given each row individually adds to 45. So they add up to 10 or 20. One of these is a 6 and adds up to 30. That 30. No, I sort of feel like I might be able to do some maths on columns 7, 8 and 9, but my brain is being recalcitrant and it isn't telling me how to do it. Naughty brain. Okay, this circle then, or not this circle, but this cell. Oh no, that could be part of oh no, hang on. Yeah, this can't be a 6, so it never gets there. So this is a new shape. Now, it's got to get a circle, which means it's because it can't take 2 question marks. Its circle is going to be this one, isn't it? So that's at least the start of it. Oh, that's right. That is the shape. That is the total expanse of this shape. And the reason we know that is that if it... Oh no, I'm wrong. Because it could be... sorry, I was thinking if it was 6, I'd have 2 6s. But I wouldn't, because the 6 would be there. And that's not in the same box as this 6. Bobbins. So, okay, well this is 4 or 6, because we're either looking at that shape or that shape. So it is 4 or 6. Let's delineate. The thing we've learnt there is we've learnt that's a 4. Which makes that a 6 and that a 4. Beautiful. So now we know the order over here. We can do this. Let's make sure we don't get it wrong. So now we've got another 30 here. I really like this puzzle. It's very, very entertaining. But I'm stuck, aren't I? Come on. What do we do next? I almost thought I'd had a brilliant idea. I haven't had a brilliant idea. That cell is a 4, I'm going to claim. I think that must be right, because this circle has to get a question mark. If it gets that question mark, it can't grow anymore without bumping into a second circle. And if it gets this question mark, it can't grow anymore without bumping into another region or, taking more things than it's meant to have. So that is a 4. But I don't know. Okay, so this is a region. Well, no, to be more precise, those two are in the same region, but I don't know whether that region goes there or there. It does one of those things. That one needs, yeah, that, oh no, because that could get, it's really, I tell you what, I could easily make an error by not realizing that some of these regions that look like they might be complete are actually not complete. I was about to say that one has to take that one, but that's not right, because it could join this one. If it joined that one, it would be that shape, wouldn't it? And that would be that shape. These couldn't both be 4s. So this would have to be a 6. This one would be, I think, a very small number, a 2 or a 3 possibly. Oh bother, I don't know what to do. Can we do maths on this box then? That's 30, so those are 50. Yeah, we can. Yes, okay, so let's look at box 8, which is a bit hidden by my borders that I've drawn. But that's box 8 of the Sudoku, so those digits sum to 45. We know a 6-cell region in this puzzle sums to 30, so these 3 cells sum to 15, but these 4 cells have got to sum to one of our allowable totals. So that must be 20 now, because I can't write 15 into that square. So that's a 5. These 2 squares sum to 11, and they are either 3, 8 or 2, 9. They can't be 4, 7 or 5, 6. And I probably am meant to be able to do something with that, but I don't know what it is. What about... I don't know. I don't know where to look, actually. We could try... Can we limit this at least? That is, if it goes upwards, I see, right, yes, okay. This black region does not go upwards, because if it does, it has to be a size 4 region, because of this question mark, and that's going to clash with this. So this, the thing is, it could be a 2, couldn't it? It could just stay the size it is at the moment. But if not, it goes this way, in which case it could be a 3. It can't be a 4. Can it be 5? Can it go all the way across? Maybe. Okay, sorry, I don't know then. So this is 2, 3 or 5, but perhaps importantly, it definitely doesn't go up. So now it looks like that cell's under pressure, is it? Yeah, I think so. Let's look at this square. I'm just going to highlight it for a second and say, okay, what rectangle, which circle can it reach? Actually, I don't think I know, do I? Can it get that one? Or no, let's do question marks. Can it get that question mark? No. Because if it gets that question mark, it's not got a circle, so it would have to shift over and then it would have 2 question marks. So it doesn't get this question mark. So I think it must get this one. But in terms of the circle it gets, why couldn't it get that circle? And then this would be a 6. It would be hugely powerful if that was 6, because that would be 5. That would be 2 or 3. But it could get this one as well, I think. And then it... Well, then I mean, that could be any number of things. I wish I knew whether that one came down here or not. Oh dear. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Okay, let's go back to this one then. Do we know which way this goes? If this one goes... I don't know. I don't know. How am I meant to know? If this one goes up, that feels more constrained. Because I think that one would then have to be a 6. I think we'd get loads of 6s. Because this one would have to take that one in, wouldn't it? But couldn't also be a 4. So I think that would be a 6. That would be a 4. So this one couldn't be 4 or 6. Oh, I think that's broken, actually. Because there's no way of row 3, column 2 being in a circle. Or being in a rectangle. Gosh, that's it, isn't it? It's hard to see that. That's something you only see through sort of quite... I'm going to show you it, but it's really pretty. So I'm saying if this is a 4 and it's a square, where does this one go? Its only circle it can get to now is this one. So we've got a region that looks like this. But it can't stop here because this would be a 4. So it must grow a little bit. And now this little square is absolutely scuppered. Because it has to join a circle, and that's fine. But it also has to get hold of a question mark that doesn't make it overlap with another group. It could get that one, but in doing that, it's going to have 2 circles in its region. And there's nothing else available that isn't going to put a second circle or create a non-rectangular shape. It just doesn't work. Right, well, that's our first... That's a win for the goodies then. That is a region. That 4 region goes across the top. And I've got a horrible feeling that's not going to help me. This cell... Well, this is clearly something, isn't it? Oh, no, that's wrong, because that could be... Oh, no, sorry, I'm totally talking total nonsense. I'm talking total nonsense. Okay, let's do this differently then. What question mark does this get? Now, if it got that one, that would be the extent of its region. Because it would have both of the things it needed and it couldn't grow. And it would be a 4 in this square. So this circle doesn't get this question mark. So which question mark does it get? It must get this one, mustn't it? So that's a region. Let's make those dark green. So this, okay, so now we can draw that in and that. But this circle, well, it could join, the thing is it could join to this one, I think. So, okay, but this can't be a 4. So that cell is a 2 or a 3. If it's a 2, this has to be an 8. And that, wow, now we're going to have to think harder about how all this works. I'm wondering if we're going to end up having to do maths on everything. You see, I can sort of see if that grows and that takes 3 and that's a 3. There's all sorts of ways this can work, I think. I wonder actually if we're meant to do... Maybe I'm not meant to be able to resolve this now. Maybe I'm actually meant to do thinking along different lines and try and do maths on some of these boxes. Is that possible? It's possible. Okay. Those 2 squares are interesting, aren't they? Oh wow. Oh wow, this is brilliant. I've actually had a really good idea for once. Goodness me, this, if this is what you're meant to do here, I love this. Right, look at this box. We've got 30 in a 6 shape, plus 5, 35. The secret tells us this little domino here sums to 10 to get to 45. Now imagine this was a 4 for a moment. Now we've got 10 here, 14. So this is the final cell in this region. And it would have to be a 6 to get to 20. It's the only allowable total. There's no way that can work. So this cannot be a 4 and has to be a 6, and that extends it. So I think I was looking for the wrong things there. So now, well, okay. So now this cell can't possibly belong to anything apart from the black region. So we get a 3 in the middle of the grid. Now, can we... Oh, Maverick's in a funny vehicle this evening, or this afternoon. We don't know what this is, do we? Or, no, we do. I don't think we do. If this is a 10 region, these add up to 7, which would make this a 5 or a 6 and this a 1 or a 2. But if this is a 20 region, this is an 8-9 pair. Oh. Okay. Alright, so what do we do next? What did we say? We said those added up to 10. We know this region adds up to 30. So we're on 16. So those have to add up to 14. Or to put it another way, those squares add up to 20. Does that help us? I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, I've got 3 here, right, so that's a 4. Right, does that help me? That means I can extend lime green to the middle, or a little bit further. Has that helped, or not? Does that mean... I don't know what that means, actually. I have a feeling this square has to be this colour. Because if it wasn't, let's have a think about that. If this square is a new rectangle, that rectangle can only be coming along this way, can't it? And the problem with that is it can't stop at size 3. But the reason it can't stop at size 3 is that this cell would then not be part of any rectangle at all. So it would have to be a size 4 rectangle, but then there'd be 2 4s in this box. So the conclusion we draw there is that this is now a 3, and that goes upwards to here. Right, so now we've got a situation where those 2 squares add up to 9, don't they? Because, I mean, we're only dividing the grid, and we've got 2 circles left. So these must add up to 9. And yeah, I think if I can prove they have to be 3 and 6, which I think is true, then we're home and hosed, because then we can do it, or at least I'll know the circles totals. Because, yeah, I mean, we can't have a 2 here, can we? It's just nonsensical, because this cell would never work. Now 4 and 5 you can't make into rectangles from this shape. It's impossible. Yeah, it's got to be 3 and 6. Now, and then that's going to have to be 3 by Sudoku, and so Sudoku tells us the order of this, 3 and 6. Oh no, but it doesn't. That can still get, so this 3 can still get that question mark, like that, or it can get that question mark and be that, and then that would be a region. Oh dear, that is not what I was anticipating. Okay, right, so we have to do something different. How on earth? Okay, it's just really clever. It's very clever, this. And I feel... Okay, hang on. That 3 is in the same box as that. That is box 4 of the Sudoku, so that's a 4. That's going to give me 2 more numbers because that extends this region and it limits this region. So that's now all my circles filled. And my Shikaku effect... Oh, well, no, my Shikaku almost... So, yeah, I see. So the way this is going to get resolved is by Sudoku and not repeating digits in shapes. That's very, very cool. Now, what I'd love to be able to do now is to say with any sort of certainty... I'd like to be able to do something. So these add up to 10. We worked that out. Now that is not 3, 7, and it's not 4, 6. So it's either 1, 9 or 2, 8. So isn't there a problem here? Doesn't they have to add up to 11? If they were 2, 9, there would be no possible 10 fill here. So that's not 2, 9, that's 3, 8. And I know the order. There we go. There's a tiny deduction for the good guys. So this is now 1, 9. And this row has not had 2 and 7 into it. And okay, so we're still on 16. What do we need? 14 into those squares. It's really... I feel like I should know where to look, and I just don't. Do I know what that adds up to? If that... Oh, it can't add up to 10. Oh, yes, I do know what this adds up to. It can't add up to 10, because it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a 3 here. So it actually does have to add up to 20. We can't make 30 in 4 cells if one of the digits is a 4. We could if it was 6, 7, 8, 9, but because of this 4 we can't. So these add up to... Well, those all add up to 20. 34, 37. So these squares add up to 8 to make the whole column add up to 45, and so they are not 3, 5, they are not 2, 6, that is a 1, 7 pair, and don't tell me that does nothing. Okay, you can tell me that, because apparently that does nothing. Okay, but I know what those digits are. They are the other digits then, which ought to be 2, 5, 9 by the looks of things. And that's not 9, and that's not 5. And that's useless. Oh dear. Okay, so that didn't work. This... Oh, same thing again. Okay, this 4-cell sequence could have added up to 10, except for it to do that, these would have had to be a 1, 2, 3 triple, which is ruined by this. So these do actually add up to 16 without using 3, 4, 5 or 6. So okay, this has to be 1, 7, 8. And the way I'm seeing that is that the digits I've got left to play with are 1, 2, 7, 8 and 9. Now clearly we can't put 1 and 2 into this sum because we need it to add to 16. So we certainly can't have 3 high digits. 7, 8 and 9 is 24, that's too many. So we must have 2 high digits, and if I take the 2 smallest, 7 and 8, then it's forced. I've got to have 7, 8, 1. That's the only way of doing it. It's probably a very long-winded way of explaining that, but that is true. So this is not 8. I think we already knew that. 1, 7, 8. Can we do anything better than that? Surely I can. What do we need in this row? 2, 3, 5, 9. 5 in the row. Yes, that's placed. Aha. So these are 2, 3 and 9. can get rid of 9 from there and 3 from there. But let's come back over here again now. I've now got 11 there, so I'm on 21. These have to add up to 9. Is that hard to do? It's not 1, 8. It is 2, 7 because it's not 3, 6 or 4, 5. So that's a 2, 7 pair. Apparently not resolved again. Okay, so 1, 6, 8, 9 into these squares. I'm actually going to pencil mark it and have a think. That's not 1 or 8. That one is not 6 because of this. Oh, I see. These are a 1, 8, 9 triple in this box, in that box, which is impossible to see at this juncture. And can we do anything over here? Apparently not. No. Oh dear. Oh dear. Now I've got nothing better than oh dear to say, I'm afraid. Right, let's have a look down here. Now, I've always been aware that this could be adding up to 10, but it can't now, because there's a 2, 7 pair here, so 2, 5 is off the table, 1, 6 is off the table, 3, 4 is off the table, so this adds up to 20, that's an 8, 9 pair. So that's 9 in the corner, that's 8 because of this 9, forcing ourselves to do a little bit of Sudoku there against our better judgment. I've got a 2, 3 pair here, so that's a 9. So this is a 9. You'd think that would be useful, but apparently not. What does it do in the bottom row? We've got... No. You naughty puzzle. There's a 9 in one of these squares. This box adds up to 30 because it's a 6 box. We've got 15 in it already. That's 2. These add up to 10. That looks difficult. In fact, impossible. Right, that's not a 2. Because if it's a 2, this is a 3 because we can't repeat digits in the rectangle. Then we've got 20 there. So we need 10 here. And it can't be 4, 6, 3, 7, 2, 8 or 1, 9. There would be no way to make the total work. So that's a 7. That is, we don't know. That's a 2. So now we do know. I'm going to revisit this total in a second. Let me just see if I can do some Sudoku before that. I don't know. I can't see anything. All right. Okay. These add up to 6, and they're not 2, 4. So these are 1, 5. If that isn't broken by some nefarious. That's a 4 now by this box's Sudoku, and this box we must be able to work this out. What are we on? We're on 14, and we have to get to a number ending in 0, so that's got to be a 6. Right. So that's a 9. And I'm going to be left with a 1, 8 pair, aren't I? Somehow or other I'm left with a 1, 8 pair. Okay, but we do know what these digits are. They are 1, 7, 8. Does that make sense? Yes, that makes 20 for this total. So 1, 7, 8. We can place the 7 in that panoply. We get a 1, 8 pair here. That fixes this as a 1. This is a 5. This column needs 3 and 5. Yes, we can do it. That's better. Now this needs 1, 7, 8, which we can't do. And these squares have got to be 2, 4, 6. Which we can... Well, we can do the 4. And as a result of this... look at this row. There's a 1, 8, 9 nefarious little creature in these 3 squares, so that can't be a 9, so that's 2, that's 5, that's 9. These squares have got to be 4 and something. Is it 4, 6? Oh, it's just Sudoku on this box, sorry. So that's 4, that's 6. And did we ever work out what this summed to, or did we never think about that? It's clearly not 10. Is it 20? These would have to add up to 11 without using... I know we can do that. 128 would work. Or, okay, if these add up to 30, these add up to 21 without using 9. 6, 7, 8 would be the only way of doing it. Oh, okay, so maybe this is not resolved. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't know what to do about that. Do we know? Yeah, look at this one. We know this adds up to either 10 or 20, so these either add up to 7 or 17. If we're going for 7, it would have to be a 1-6 pair now, and it can't be. So it must be an 8-9 pair, and we know the order using this little creature. So now I get a 9 down here and a 1. 9 is placed in box 1 by Sudoku. I need 2 and 7 into this column, and somehow that's not resolved. What about this column? 2, 3, 7, I think. So that's 2 or 7. 2, 3 or 7 down here. That's not 3. So this is the only place for 3 in column 3. And we're sort of, oh, I've got a 2-7 pair here, so we can work out what these two digits have to sum. Oh, well, no, we could just do Sudoku on the box. I'm so against Sudoku, it's unbelievable. Right, this is a 4-8 pair, and we know the order, 8, 4. So 4, oh no, careful, we've already got 4 in here, so we can't do 4 there. 2, 7, 9 over here. So this, the only place for 9 in this row is there. This is 2 or 7. Oh, I see. Oh, it's beautiful. Right, it's this point. Look, this is this. If it was to come straight down and be red, it would make that rectangle, which would have a repeated 6 in it. That's not allowed, is it? So this has to belong to this, and that's our new region, which means this is a region. Well, let's make that. What colour is the most lovely? I think we might make it blue. Okay, and then we can delineate. That's our Shikaku finished. We can do the maths on this row, or that's region. That's a 1 now to make a 10. So that's an 8. Oh, which I could have got a different way. I think that was available already. I just hadn't seen it. So that's 1. That's 8. Now, has that done more than it looks like it has? I'm hoping it has. I just can't see. 1, 2, 5, 7 into these squares. Let's put that in. 1, 2, 5, 7. That's not 5. That's not 5. So the only place for 5 is here. I've got rather too many 1s, 2. I've got 2s and 7s everywhere, and some 1s as well. Now, can that really sum to 10? If it sums to 10, that's a 3. Is that a problem? It is actually, no, it's not, because it is a 3 by Sudoku. There are 4 3s looking at this box. That is a 3. So can this sum to 20? No. Impossible. These would have to sum to 13. And they can't. So this is a 1-2 pair. So that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 7. Now hopefully that tidies up all of the jiggery pokery we've got going on at the bottom, look. So that becomes 7. These squares here have become 2 and 5, and we know the order. 5 and 2. This is no longer 7. In fact, this is 7. In this column, what do we need? 1, 2, 8. So, oopsie, so that's 1 or 2. That seems to be able to be all sorts of things. Oh, but can we do the maths on this box? We know this is summing to 30, don't we? Yeah, this has got to be a 1-2 pair to make that work. So this is the 8. That's a 1. In this column we need... Oh, it's 6, 7, 8 at the end of the day then. Okay, I wasn't really expecting that. So that becomes 7. This becomes 1. 1 and 2 go into the grid. Let's do it slowly. These become 6 and 8. That becomes a 6 though. 6, 6, 8, 2. That's a 7 in the corner, and that's an 8. That's a superb puzzle. I'm just gonna peep over an hour for finishing it, but it is 4 stars. I mean, yeah, I can see why some people said it's 3 stars, but yeah, it's not. I don't think it's desperately simple. I think if you've got a bit of experience with killer Sudoku, which I certainly ought to be able to claim to have, I can understand why people have found it slightly easier, but I suspect for most people that will be 4 stars. And one thing I will say, Aeneid, is that is a lovely, lovely puzzle. So much clever logic in there, and the way it combined, it wasn't just do Shikaku and then do Sudoku. At least I had to really do both at different times. It was a very, very nice hybrid puzzle, and I liked it very much indeed. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. Oh, is it right? Hang on, let's check that. Yes, it is right. That's good. The way to play is to click. Oh, no, come on, get brain in gear. No, I like the comments, especially when they're kind. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.